Hello, this is Cheryl Wilson and I'm an abstract artist. If you're new to my channel, this is day 3 of a 5-day art challenge that I've put out there. If you're returning, thank you for coming back, and I hope that you've watched day 1, which is self-reflection, day 2, which is understanding your inner critic, and progressing on to day 3, facing your fear in your art and taking risks. Taking risks is creating something that you've not done before, knowing that it might be fearful. I ask you to have a very open mind. Know that there will be times you feel uncertain and fearful of the outcome. But don't think about the end. Stay in the present. There is much to be discovered about ourselves when we choose to probe into the unknown, emotions and physiological responses of that which is unfamiliar. Many times there are pockets of creativity within us that we may never know or experience unless we open that door. Feeling the fear of failure is real. But if you keep within that fear and never try something outside of the familiar, you will always stay where you are. I learned that a long time ago, and that the first step helps to take the second step and then the third. I learned to not ever give up. If I'm struggling, even if I'm creating ugly art, I keep trying. If I end up with a muddy mess, I ask myself, so what can I do with this muddy mess? This fear that you feel is the same fear many of us feel. It is the feeling inside you cannot actually show anyone, or anyone can actually see, but you feel it, and that stops you from moving forward. You truly want to be brave, and many times you sit down in your art studio with the best of intentions, and you stop because fear is stronger than the desire to unleash your inner artist. Many times you visualize what you want to create, but your inner critic sends out those words that overtake, saying that you'll be a failure, or that you actually do paint something, post it, and then nobody responds. Or you take on a commission and then the fear gets in the way of creating what you envisioned and you just can't work. Your fear actually overtakes your desire to create. The first step is to overcome, and the way that we do this is to know that we all go through this, and the only way to get past it is, well, just to get past it. This internal discomfort is not unique to you alone, but you alone must figure out how to get out of it. The way out is really just to do it. Don't ever be afraid of ugly paintings. Actually, embrace them. There is a level of this lack of self-confidence that is strong. And again, I say, embrace the fact that you will create ugly at times. And these times may be several days or weeks, but I guarantee you, it's not going to last forever. What if you gave up right before that incredible painting was inside of you and you never painted it? Did you know that the fear of failure is one of the most damaging roadblocks to your creativity? Fear can actually paralyze our creative process to the extent that when we're stuck and cannot think, we just cannot create. This eventually stifles your inspiration to try something new. So today, the challenge is to try something new. Here's a couple ideas, and then I'll tell you the painting I'm creating. Use a color that you don't feel comfortable using. You may never use purple, or you may never use orange. Try painting with those. Paint an entire painting with a palette knife. Paint only using your fingers. Paint with anything but a brush. Paint with only dark tones. Use a different medium. Like for me, my challenge was to paint a painting with watercolors, because normally I may use watercolors as a underpainting, but I wanted to create an actual floral, which I'm still learning to do florals, with watercolor. So that was my challenge to myself in front of all of you. Here's another one, paint with only 3 colors. So the challenge to you is you may come up with an ugly painting, but don't think about the end in mind. Just start creating. Come up with something that it might be fearful, something you've wanted to do for a while, and just try it. Just paint. Maybe you've always painted on canvas and you want to paint on paper. This is your chance. The purpose to playful painting outside of your comfort zone is to just paint outside your comfort zone. And the more you do that, the more practice you get, the more that you start to enjoy the process and embrace the risk and embrace the challenge. Here are a few things to try if you find that you really are afraid to start. Is turn on some music. That will help just like comfort you. Put a little sign up in front of you that say, it is okay to paint ugly. In fact, you might even want to create an ugly painting to start, so that's just your warm-up. And just tell yourself, stay in the present. Don't think about the end. Stay in the present and start to create. So, I hope that you embrace this challenge. I hope this is something that you do a lot of. Embracing risks and the fear of taking risks was something I did very early in my art practice, and that was from a level of confidence I feel as an artist. And I guess the reason why I say that is it was more of a level of confidence from my professional world. I was in the Air Force, and I had to do many things that I didn't necessarily feel comfortable doing. I am in my 60s, so I was in the military during a time when it really was a man's military. And there were things that were in front of me that I had to do, and I had to lead because of my rank other people and men that frankly looked at it as a man's world. So I had to learn to embrace fear. And then when I went in my professional world, I was actually a risk manager and a project manager. And then again, I had to get in front of a lot of people and present projects at a level that was fearful to me. And the more I did it, the more that I failed, and the more that I learned that the failure didn't kill me, the more I learned that the failures actually helped me grow. It made me less fearful to do things the next time. The next meeting that I held with 500 people, I wasn't as fearful as I was the first couple times. Didn't mean I didn't fail. Didn't mean that I didn't choke on my words, or I may not have been as prepared as I should have been because I may have encountered something I wasn't prepared to have happen, like an ugly painting. But I kept going, and it gave me a level of confidence that I did bring into my art world. But if you don't have that level of confidence, the only way to do it is to do it. I've said several times, practice, practice, practice. I think it took me 100 paintings before I even thought my painting was halfway decent. It took me another 100 to feel like, gosh, I'm to a point where I might sort of know what my style is looking at. And it's taken me many more to get to where I am now. And I'm not done growing. I'm not done learning. But the only way to take the step forward, and if you're fearful in painting and taking chances and being messy, some people are fearful of mess. Some people are very realistic in their painting, and they want to paint looser. The only way to do that is to take risks. And that's what I want you to do in this exercise, is to really hone in on facing your fears in your art and taking risk and enjoying it and doing it over and over again. So I'm going to let you finish watching me paint this painting. Like I said, it's using several different styles of watercolor and using brushes that I've never quite used before. They're really full of water, and it's kind of like mopping it on, and just embracing the fun of making this painting and doing something that, in the end, I want it to be a beautiful painting, but I'm staying in the present. So let me know if you want to post in the Facebook group what you learned from this, or you don't have to post. Just enjoy doing this and enjoy this day 3. And thank you again for joining me.